The most important thing in your life is your health. This is the only thing that I could sell you that will improve every other aspect of your life. I didn't spend 4 years on a college campus learning kinesiology, and I spent the time in the trenches.
That's one of the things I find most fascinating about being a coach. You actually care about the individual. You actually understand how to apply the information. You're a valuable person.
The more people who are preaching about exercise and wellness is only going to add more value into your life. I remember being overweight and out of shape and looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I got to wear this because it looks this way and I got to wear more black. What if I get in fucking great shape? Then I could look good in any. You want somebody who's in shape, hot, successful, all this shit. Look in the mirror. Who are you going to attract? I started taking testosterone 3 years ago. It's helped me so much. The amount of guys who spoke up for me, who came to my defense, that meant so much more to me. I feel like the clock is ticking. I got to shit or get off the pot.
And what's new?
I'm just trying to figure it all out. You know, I'm doing 101 things. And I'm trying to hone in on who I actually want to be. I think that's where people screw up, especially myself. You're like, all right, who do you want to be? What do you want to do?
Creating a life you don't want.
Yeah. And like, just start writing down exactly, just being super specific on what you want. Because I think if you have given everybody nowadays $500 million and be like, all right, now what? They wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what you want to do with the money, and you wouldn't know what would make you happy after. I think trying to find my purpose, trying to figure out what type of life I would lead. I did this exercise years ago. Who was it? It was the guys from Barbell Shrugged who had given me like this template, and they were like, hey, just do this. It was Mike Bledsoe.
Nice.
And Bledsoe was like, here, I want you to do this little exercise. He's like, close your eyes and imagine exactly the life you'd want to lead. Like you get up in the morning, who's laying next to you? What type of sheets do you have? Is there a dog in the room?
That's why you're here, right?
Where are you living?
You know what's me laying next to?
And it was, I just started doing that, and I try to repeat that exercise every once in a while. And then sometimes you're like, well, I'm not 100% clear on what I actually want.
You forget some variables. You're like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of times it's like, what do I want? Well, what I want right now doesn't have to necessarily be what I want 10 years from now.
Right.
So, you know, I love doing, I have the podcast. I love doing the event. I love having the gyms, and I'm just trying to like level up. I just want as much out of life as I could.
So here's a question for you. Who knows you best? Like, is there 3 to 5 people in this world that you're like, these people actually know me?
Yeah, but I think there's still parts of me that, you know, I don't show as much as I should, you know? So.
Well, someone knows you, right? Or someone can see, because I always think of like, it may be a valuable experiment to ask the people who know you best of like, where am I playing small? Mm-hmm. It has to be the right person. Where am I playing small? And what do you think I should be doing to live my best life?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you said it that way, because there are definitely people who are like, we don't believe in yourself enough. And I truly believe in all the neuroscience of understanding like you could be worth more. You just continue to play yourself low.
Yeah, and do low value shit that distracts you.
Yeah. And you know, there are definitely a couple people in my life who are continuously tell me that. They're like, well, you could be doing more. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Like, and to switch that over to truly believe that you're worthy of more is very hard. I don't think it's just like, oh, I believe I'm
more is subjective, right? So you have to be super specific, because more like more money, more time, more like yes, you know, you got to be like ultra specific. So is it like I want a higher net worth? Or is it like, because net worth doesn't always equate to more happiness, more fulfillment. So you're like, well, how do I reconcile all those things? So whoever's saying, you're on the right path, man. But I think like one of the things that I value most in my life is people who are willing to like call me on my shit and be like, you know what you're doing there. Stop fucking doing it. You know, playing small. I hired a guy, I think, you know, Mike DeSanti?
Yes.
I hired Mike years ago. And
how'd you meet Mike?
Through Jay.
Okay.
Jay.
He's great.
Mike's the fucking best. And I sent everybody Mike. Mike's too busy now. But first time I hired Mike, here's a funny story. Mike was doing a training in Tampa, where I was at the time. And he's like, dude, come to the training 3 days on me. Come as my guest. He's like, sign up here. I come as my guest. And 2 young kids. I think they were like 3 and 4. And It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so my kids are supposed to go to like daycare or whatever. And I get up and my wife goes, hey, you got to take the kids to daycare. I'm like, I can't. I got to go to this event. She knew I had to go there. She's like, no, you have to take them. I was like, fuck. So I call Mike. I'm like, hey, dude, I apologize. I got to be late. So I get there at 10 o'clock. Take the kids to school and I go. And then the next morning I wake up, I'm going out the door. And my wife's again, she's like, hey, grandma's not coming. You got to take the kids to grandma's. And I was like, fuck, I got to be late again. So I call Mike. I'm like, dude, I got to be late. So I get to the event and Mike goes, I'm an hour late again. And like, I feel like shit because I'm like disrespecting this guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, everybody stand up. As I get there, he goes, everybody stand up, including me. And he goes, does anyone have to leave early? So he goes, everyone else sit down. And he goes, why do you have to leave early? I'm like, I got to pick up my kids. He goes, where else? He goes, get out. And I go, he goes, where else in your life is this showing up for you? Where you're overcommitted, you're committing to too many things, and you're not showing up at your best. And he goes, leave. And I was like, okay, got my shit, walked out. And in that moment, I was like, I need this guy in my life. Because he was able to see me through the facade, and he didn't give a fuck who I was.
Yeah.
He's just like, you need to recognize that I'm not throwing you out for my benefit. He's like, I'm throwing you out for your benefit because you're overcommitting. And he didn't know this circumstance. It didn't matter the circumstance. The truth is I had overcommitted and I didn't take care of my kids, which is obviously my first priority. Anyway, so I called him the next day and I was like, dude, thank you. I was like, can I hire you? And I hired him on the spot. I was like, I hired him for 12 months of coaching. Like, this is the type of people you need in your life. People who are willing to, like, who else in the world would make you stand up in front of a group, embarrass you, and kick you out? I was like, this is the type of person I want in my life. Because like most people are pandering and they're telling you how awesome you are. And I'm sorry, they're trying to appease me. I'm like, I don't want somebody who's going to fucking appease me. I want somebody who's going to help me be my best.
Yeah. I have a lot of people. Yeah, there's definitely people who are like, oh, you're great, you're this, you're that. Now, I don't believe anybody.
Right.
I'm like,
everyone's full of shit.
I don't give a shit. I'm like, I don't believe fucking anybody. Yeah, I'm such a pessimist. I mean, my father, growing up, it was always, I could literally tell my dad, hey, I'm just on a TV show, I won fucking $100,000. He'd be like, yeah, all right, I'll see you later. It was never like good enough. It was never, he's like, well, you're in that shithole country and blah, blah, blah. Like I was overseas and stuff. So it was always just like any negative point of anything I did. So I guess I adopted a little bit of that.
Right.
Where like, even if the sun's shining and I got a pocket full of cash, I'm still like, shit could be better.
Well, so I don't think that's valuable either, right? So the thing is the neutrality. Like the event itself is not polarized, right? But we create these like it's negative or it's positive. Like, no, it just is.
Yeah.
So do you know John DeMartini? Dr. John DeMartini?
No.
I think we may have talked about this guy. So he's the best in the world. He's been on the podcast 2 or 3 times. And he's the best in the world for helping people remove emotional charge around situations. Let's say something really bad happened to you and you carry around this like deep, dark, heavy emotion, or something really great happens and you're always this positive person, but then something bad happens and it fucking tears you down. So he helps you neutralize emotions around events. And so when you learn to neutralize the event, you just sort of remove your bias toward it. You're like, it's not good or bad, it just is. And that's been useful for me to start moving in the direction of my highest capability because I don't avoid things that are hard. I don't seek things that are going to give me pleasure as much. I can just more be objective with things and be like, this is what I want to do. This is why. And I think a lot of people are so influenced by their emotions. DeMartini's been a really big, I highly recommend. You're a pretty emotionally balanced guy, it seems, but for anyone that's got emotional charge in their life, DeMartini's breakthrough experience is life-changing.
Yeah. No, I've definitely, I read, what was his name? I had him speak at Strong years ago. And he had passed away during COVID. He had cancer. He wrote the book Neutral Thinking. It's a great book. And he was Russell Wilson's mindset coach. Yeah. And I heard him on a podcast years ago. And I was like, I need this guy. So I sent him a DM. And I was like, I love everything you're talking about.
I know who you're talking about, but I forget the name.
The book is called Neutral Thinking. And I loved it. And, Russell Wilson actually narrates some of it. But it was an absolute game changer for me because he was saying that like a lot of these quarterbacks, if they throw an interception, it kind of throws them off for the rest of the game. Where it's like Russell Wilson during his best 2 seasons was just like, he throws an interception, he could throw a touchdown the next time because it wasn't like it wasn't good or bad. It's just, it is what it is, and you move on.
Things like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I did this thing. You'd be objective about it instead of subjective.
You're more like, you're not down on yourself.
Right.
And even with everything that's gone on in my life, I'm never like, all right, this is negative or positive. What affects me, I get emotionally charged when like I'm wasting time on shit.
So I often get frustrated with incompetence.
But at the same time, it's like, I think I'm all about execution. If somebody hands me a problem, I'm like, all right, let's try to fix it. Don't like start complaining about it. Let's fix it. Like if there's something wrong in the gym or the business, it's like, what can we do right now to move the needle forward? I'm all about efficiency. I'm more like function over fashion too.
Sure.
Like everything's always like, how do we move forward?
Right.
You know?
So what are you working on in your life? You said you trying to figure stuff out. You got Strong New York, which is massive. Once a year?
Yeah. So we're doing the event. I love it.
That's in the fall.
Yeah, we just did it September 25th to 26th this year, and now we're going to do it again next year.
How many people showed up?
Not as many as I'd want. I wanted to get like a little over I would have liked to get over 5,000. We were a little under 5,000.
Still amazing.
Yeah, it's just I'm trying to figure out like what makes the most sense, right? Nowadays, when I first started this thing, 2015, no one was doing events. Now everybody and their mother's doing events. It's like you have fucking Diplo doing events. You have everybody wants to do like a health wellness type of thing.
Yeah. You just need a unique angle.
Yeah. So, and that's what it is. And I'm like, all right, what is the angle? I'm not a DJ. I'm not a fucking actor. You know, why would people show up? How do we make it more fun? What could people get? What use could people get out of the event? And if I don't feel there's any value to it, then I don't know why the hell I would keep doing it. I mean, every year it does really well and I have a great time and people can be like, knock on wood, we've gotten nothing but great feedback. 10 years going, this will be the 10th year. It's got nothing but great feedback. I've had great brand partners that come back year after year. We have a lot of the same people come back year after year. It's just like, how does it make a bigger splash? After the event, I said to myself, all right, I'm going to spend the next 6 months building more value into myself. How do I build more value?
What does that mean?
Just, being a coach, being a trainer, being a gym owner. You know, I've never had a big gym. I've ran my businesses and done what I've done on no support. Like I've never had investors. I've always done everything myself. I've always just, any money I've made in any business that I've had, I've just dumped it back in. So I think just speaking on that, I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, there was a perfect question was at, I went to Kenny Santucci's big event that she had down in Austin, and multiple people were interested in like, should I bootstrap my company or should I get investment? Right. And this was like a question that got asked to almost every speaker. And, you know, for me, like looking back, I'm like, all right, well, if I would have gotten investment, now you're basically just an employee of the business. You don't really have as much control as you would if you bootstrap it. But you're not playing this grandiose game, right? You have a couple $1 million you could fuck around with. It looks like you're doing a lot more than you actually are, you know? And I think there's beauty in the fact that like bootstrapping it, it's like, yes, you don't have all the glitz and glamour. You're doing it yourself, but at the same time, you own everything. Like I could pivot and do whatever I want at any moment. I think there's value in that.
Yeah, I think so. You're on the right path, man. It's like clarifying the vision, right? Like who are we going to be in this world and what problem we're going to solve?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting world because you said something just a few minutes ago that's worth double clicking on. It's like, you're not a guy who's flashy. You're like, man, I'm function over form.
Yeah.
Or
function over fashion.
Function over fashion. And I think the world we live in is all about, sort of first impressions and falsehoods and this external bullshit. Like if you're not the guy, and I watched a music video the other day and I was like, do they still make these fucking things? Like these kids dancing with these chains. And I'm like, who watches this shit? But clearly they do. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like what's wrong with people's brains that they still glamorize these?
Dude, I feel the same way. I watch so many people who I'm like, this guy's never done anything.
Right.
And people are like mesmerized. I'm like, wait, no one. It's funny to me because you're now looking at a lot of people diving into like the material of clothes, right? Like somebody's deep diving into like where Aloe or Lululemon makes their clothes, what fabrics are in it, what artificial plastics or whatever bullshit they're saying that are in the clothes, and people are boycotting it.
Right.
Like they're like, oh, the stock drops. It's like, for the stock to drop, there needs to be a lot of people listening to this bullshit.
Where I was going with this is, you're not a flashy guy, right? You're doing a lot of cool shit and you're just sort of flying under the radar because that's been your choice. But what I think is going to happen is I think there's going to be a shift. I think everything in the world goes in cycles. And I think people are going to at some point realize, and I could be wrong, but at some point they're going to realize that all the social media flash, glitz and glam is a facade. And the people who are truly living authentic are going to become the people who are desirable, at least by the right people.
Yeah.
And so the more you can just like be you and put your life on display, like, hey, here's like Don does a very good job of this. I can see that when he's playing hockey or running or in his barn or in his office or on Broad Street.
He's a straight shooter. Yeah.
He's the same guy.
Yeah.
Like that's why he's appealing. And I think the same for you. And so the more of you just like put your life on display and allow people to go, oh, he's legit.
Yeah.
You'll have the right people follow you, right? You may not have the 100 million followers, but you'll have the right people follow you.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I see some of these guys. I'm like, well, should I have somebody follow me around and pretend I'm some fucking
literally what
socialite?
I'm doing. I'm doing 2026. My goal, I'm hiring a full-time video guy. Just like you're with me all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to be my neighbor. And when I wake up, you're there. Because that's what people want, which I hate, but I think it has a means to an end.
It's basically creating your own celebrity.
Yep.
Right? Like people now could follow along with your life and all this stuff. And I think a lot of these younger kids have been doing this for a while, like the Paul brothers and shit.
Yeah. People just want to be entertained.
Yeah. I think
what
that's
I'm
what
recognizing.
Moving forward in this age of AI, I think that's what it's going to be. It's like you're either going to be an entertainer of some sort, or you're just going to be somebody who's really good at
one thing. Yeah. I think the value of education is diminishing because it's free. It's everywhere. Now, so I have this construct that I teach in my certification. So there's information, which is free and commoditized.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's contextual application, which, like experience is required for, wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like how do I, like what you do and get people in shape and train people, like that doesn't come overnight. You can't chat GPT your ability to like understand how to apply this information.
Yeah.
And then there's authentically caring about people. I think those two things are what's missing. So if you actually care about the individual and you actually understand how to apply the information, you're a valuable person.
Yeah.
So this is what I teach in the certification. I'm like, here's how to take what's free and turn into something that's actually you can monetize and create a career out of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important because as much as people think AI is going to be all over the place, you still have to deal with people. People are still the consumer.
Right.
People are still the commodity here, right? So we want to be able to be really good at working with people and understanding people and like building value into people's lives because people still need and want things. And that's where your value comes in. It's like, can you provide a service? Are you good with people? Do you genuinely give a shit about what happens to them?
Like, it's such an interesting thing. Like our world is just this fucking game of like, what gimmick do I need to put on to entertain people? And like, I don't know that I want to play that game.
Well, that's why I say to people all the time, like everybody feels like their problems are worse than everybody else's. It's like, well, I grew up in a shit neighborhood. So I'm like, so did I.
Right.
I grew up with no money. Me too. That's why you live in a shit neighborhood. It's like, that's where it comes from. It's like, oh, well, because I was black or I was fat or I was this. And I'm like, well, I was fat too. You know, like everybody has their issues. I've seen successful people of all shapes and sizes, backgrounds, missing body parts. You know, the odds are stacked against them. I think when you start to put your mind towards something and you like fucking fully go in. Actually, I went to this Jesse Itzler talk the other night, and he was like, whatever you do, and he kept doing this, and I'm like, and then he finally got to explaining this and this, and he was talking about doing everything with soul. And I think when people really fucking hit the gas on doubling down on themselves and truly believing in themselves, you could really make almost anything happen. Like, I mean, think about how much shit is out there. So, I mean, going into 2026, I just want to fucking build as much value into myself as possible. And I think that's what it is too. I think people need to put their oxygen mask on before they put on anybody else's. It's like, how do I make myself better?
So talk to me about that. So like, what's your plan? Like, I suspect you've spent some time thinking. It sounds like you spent some time thinking.
Yeah, I think like I've kind of put everything on my personal life on hold so I could build my business side. because to me, it's like, I don't want to half-ass both. I want to double down on creating this business, creating this life for myself. And then whoever's around when it fucking all falls into place, then that's what I'll
How old are you,
figure
Kenny?
out. What?
How old are you?
42.
There's a gentleman whose name I forget right now, and he speaks about he doesn't believe most young people should date before 21. He says what we should spend from 13 to 21 doing is doing exactly what you're doing now. Like, develop yourself, get to know yourself, become someone worth being with, and then go find someone who's, because you spend, so much time in cognitive bandwidth between 13 or 14 and 21, just like pursuing the opposite sex, trying to navigate a little bit. You're like, just become someone who's confident and capable because you're pursuing something. And then you get to 21 and you're like, you don't waste 7 years on a bunch of, scrubs that didn't really get you anywhere.
Well, I see it in the gym. I have women come in and men come in who are like, guys who are like, I want to meet somebody, and,
right.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news all the time, but I'm just like, okay, look in the mirror.
Who are you going to attract?
Right. You want somebody who's in shape, hot, successful, all this shit,
right.
but you're not that.
Right.
So how would they see value in you if you don't see value in yourself?
And the way they talk to themselves, I'm like, do you hear the way you talk to yourself? Like, if you talk to a girl like that, you think she's going to stick around?
Yeah.
Like, no chance.
Yeah. I think there needs to be, you got to take care of those little things before you take care of the big thing. And I always say, if you want this big thing, if you want this relationship that it's going to be the rest of your life, well, then you got to take care of all the little things that add up to that, and you need to be able to build value into somebody else's life. If you don't hold any value or status or anything in life, how do you expect to attract somebody that you want that in?
So how are you creating more value in your own life and in other people's lives?
I think, like, for me, I think what the value is, it's like, one, I think doing the jiu-jitsu stuff, it's always been, like, I love it. Yeah. I enjoy it.
You're a black belt?
No, I'm purple belt. Purple. But like, working on that for me is just my own therapy, that I'm like, okay, I could handle myself. I feel confident. I feel strong. Like, obviously going to the gym every day, it's like, that's a non-negotiable.
How many times are you doing jiu-jitsu a week?
3 to 4. And
the gym on top of that?
Yeah.
So 7 days a week at the gym?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to do something every day. Yeah. And it's not, very rarely do I go nuts in the gym anymore. Right. Like, if
except
I
when
feel
you come
like,
and train with Ben, and then we get after it.
And that was brutal. That fucking leg day. For me, it's, I pick and choose the days I'm going to go nuts, because a lot of times I'm doing 2 in a day. I'm going to jiu-jitsu and I'm lifting. So it's like, I'm pretty fucking drained by the end of the night.
Right.
But like, building that level of confidence and value, and, what people want to call masculinity, whatever it is, right? I'm building that. Then I'm building this, financial part of my business. I want to build that. And then inside the business, it's like, how do we create systems so that other people could come on board and we could start to build this thing even more? And then this persona, this leveled up version of like expertise, right? Who am I? What am I doing? How do I build more value into everyone else's life, right? I just want to be more valuable to as many people as I can. So becoming an expert in all these fields, sharing the knowledge that I do have, that's kind of where I'm at. And then how do I share this? Well, I have to double down and spend the money on it. So hiring marketing teams and, all these other people, to camera guys and shit like that, to help me build a life for myself. Because it's like, I feel like the clock is ticking. I feel like everybody feels that way. It's like, I got to shit or get off the pot, start moving. Like,
feedback for you from a distance. Like, I don't know that you need to share more expertise. I think you've already established your expertise in what you do with basically the people you work with and the results you get. I think the thing that Don does well, which we just spoke about, is he's in no way intimidating. And I think he's just like, he's an approachable guy. And if you just let people see how truly approachable you are, you're like, oh, because you should be arrogant and like, whatever, eccentric. but you're not. You're like, oh, you're just a total normal, approachable guy. I think I would say that makes your brand unique.
Yeah. I think there's definitely people, I've had a lot of people be like, oh, I thought you were going to be a lot more. I'm like, no, I'm willing to work with everybody. I think there's beauty in collaboration. I think there's, a lot of people in New York are always like, well, you're the one who kind of tries to bring everybody together. And I do, because there's so much fucking ego involved in the fitness industry. You know, like everybody's the best. Everybody wants to be, nobody wants to really work with anybody else because they have this scarcity mindset that people are going to take their clients and shit. Like, I don't think like that. I'm always like, there's enough people. We need to all come together and try to get more people working out. I don't want your clients or your trainers. I want, all these people who walk by your place and my place to start coming in the door.
Do you know why you're like that, though? It's because you're good. And when someone's not good, the first thing they're going to be like, oh, that good trainer is going to come steal my shit. So it's hard it's hard to relate to other people. And I think the mindset they need to take on is like, well, just like you're doing right now. And the reason you're good is because you're so introspective and these other people aren't doing the same thing, right? They're just being like, oh, if someone's coming to steal my shit, we'll get better. If you're better, nobody comes to steal anything because you're leading, right?
Yeah. 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 No, that makes sense. I mean, I try to help people feel that way. Like when I do the event, I'm like, I'm paying for the event. I'm paying for the space. I'm paying for all these people to be here. And I invite all you guys for free.
Right.
Like I don't make any money off of you.
Right.
I'm like, I'm showing you, I'm trying to help you. Like I'm invested in your success. And I feel the same way when I train my clients. Like I'm investing my time into your success. I want you to do well because then you walk around as a billboard for me, telling everybody like, oh, hey, this was my trainer. And even if they don't, I don't give a shit. At least there's more people out there. Like I think I just keep making deposits into that bank and eventually it's going to come back to me. Eventually I'll make the interest on it. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that you said at your event that I repeat constantly now and give you props for all the time was the 4 things that keep people from being successful. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was so powerful and so good.
Yeah. So because I get to work with some pretty high profile people, I get to observe what you do well and what you don't do well. And then I have like, I have a couple hundred clients in our community. And so I get to observe the guys who are not continuously thriving and the guys who are continuously thriving. And then my brain is super analytical. And I was like, oh, what's the difference? And how can I differentiate? And I ask questions. And I'm like, tell me what that's about. And so, I always tell the story that I have a horrible memory from the time I was a child. So I start creating frameworks, and frameworks allows me to remember things. Because, if I read a book 10 minutes later, I couldn't tell what it says. But if I can sort of get through the book and then create a framework around the book, I can remember everything in the book through the framework. So that's why everything I do is about frameworks.
Yeah, I got to start doing that because my memory is shit too.
So let's promote your event, right? So I don't know anything about your event.
Yeah.
So
well, why would I'd love to have you there this year.
Why would I? So like I'm a patron New York City, resident. Why would I come to your event?
Well, I think there's opportunities for New Yorkers to experience everything else in every other industry, right? You could go to the Food and Wine Show, you could go to Fashion Week, you could go to Comic-Con, you could go to all these other celebrations of other industries. The most important thing in your life is your health, right? They say every man wants 100 things. A sick man only wants one.
Fact. Yep.
And if I could help you live a better life, this is the only thing that I could sell you that will improve every other aspect of your life.
So here, how many days is it? 1?
Just 1.
So here's something that may be interesting to think about. May not be going anywhere, but here's as you're saying that, here's what comes to mind. An event like that, if I'm not in shape, makes me feel bad about myself because I go and I watch all these people. I'm like, fuck, they're fit. I'm shit. Like I leave there feeling worse, not better. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's a second day where it's like, this day is for beginners. We're intentionally curating this day for like people in this age demographic who are just new. And we're just going to introduce you to new concepts. We're going to introduce you to how to cook. We're going to introduce you to movement. Because like, if that's what you want to get to, because once you've got them to come once, they'll come every year. Mm-hmm. So maybe because I'm thinking about my dad. Like when my dad ever go to a fitness event, my dad's been training now for 16 weeks. It's a hell of a story. I literally feel like I got my dad back. Anyways, but he would have never gone to something like this. Now he would never go to something like this. But if you said to him, hey, we're holding a day, maybe it's a 2-3 hour thing or half day thing where we're specifically talking to men over 50 who are brand new to health and fitness, and we want to teach you how to bring more health and fitness into your life. Mm-hmm. He would show up. You're like, huh. So again, I'm not sure who the audience is you're trying to serve because there's probably multiple audiences.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think a lot of it relies on who the speakers are. and who those people bring in. And then what I try to do, like one of the things I try to do is invite gym owners and professionals in the space who could be advocates for it.
Right.
You know, when they speak to their audience or they speak to the members of their gyms, you know, this is an opportunity for them to, one, have something connect outside the gym, you know, mingle with other people. I think one of the best compliments I've ever gotten was when people come in, they're like, I was so inspired because I've never been in a room full of so many fit people who are excited about life. And I think that's so hard to find. Like when I was at your event, now what was there, 20, 25 guys? But it was a bunch of guys who wanted to work out. We're all in and around the same age. Like I wanted to work out. I worked out harder than I normally would. And here's a bunch of people, 25 guys who just are looking to improve their lifestyle, who are willing to spend the money on it, make the sacrifice to come down to Tampa and do, you know. So for me, being in that environment is, as somebody who does that already, it just amplifies what I believe in. So somebody who's not in shape or overweight, but has that desire to become better, well, this is an opportunity for you to come to an event. We're the only one in New York. So it's like, this is an opportunity for you to learn, right? To experience other brands and food and be around other people that all feel the same way. Like, what's the price of admission on that? To me, it's a no-brainer. I love going to shit like that. Like, I'm not even in, I used to love comic books. I was super into comic books for the longest time. I still go to Comic-Con. We got a table there this year to sell shirts and shit at. But like, people get excited about buying fucking bobbleheads and comic books and listening to, you know, actors and stuff talk about playing a role. Like, this is your life. You are now the superhero in this life.
But they like that because it creates an emotional attachment, or brings up an emotional memory that was positive in their youth.
Sure.
So I'm thinking, like, how do you create that emotional thing where people want to come back every year? Like, I need an emotional experience. It's interesting. I've never thought about like what I would do if I had an event.
Yeah, it's hard. It definitely is hard. And I think if there was an easy answer.
What I'm hearing is creating a peak experience. So you do something that's like challenging, and then at the end there's a celebration.
Yeah.
So like that's it's a
low hanging fruit. Yeah, it's easy. It's accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
But I try to do the same thing, right? Like, I mean, listen, every year, thank God, it's like, it's grown every year.
Yeah.
We get bigger brands, bigger sponsors. It's not like the fucking surge of growth that I wish it was, but at the same time, it's like every year, it's like somewhere between 20 and 30% that we grow, which is
amazing.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Are you the MC?
No. I try to stay out of it as much as possible. Like I'll throw in my 2 cents here and there, because I didn't create the event for it to be like a showcase of me. I created the event to showcase all this other shit.
I'm going to call you on that. That's bullshit. Because what are you trying to do? You're trying to become the guy.
I think I saw a hole in the space.
Yeah, but right now you're like, hey, I want to become that.
Yeah.
Like you want to become the guy who's known for that, and like just be the MC.
Yeah.
And you know Tim Gray, the guy who did the
Yeah.
That's all. He's created so much. Yeah. Like
I met him.
Everyone's like, it's Tim. Everyone knows Tim. I was like, just because he's the guy who hosts the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job on social creating stuff. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely put himself out there for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
he's become the guy.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. Like I kind of wanted to fill this gap of like, I was going to the Arnold and the Olympia and, you know, perform better and the LA Fit Expo and fucking all these other events. And I was like, there's nothing in New York. So I wanted to create something. Yeah. And I was like, and then I was going to like Summer Strong and all these other events. And I'm like, well, I like this from this event. I like that from that event. And this is really cool. And I went to this event just for this. So I try to put all that shit that I liked from all these other events under one roof in New York.
Who spoke at your event this year?
I had a guy who I just had on my podcast. I've been dying to get him on. I saw him at Gabrielle Lyons' event. His name's Rich Davini.
I know Rich. Yeah. He was on Huberman. So he's tight. He's a SEAL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's tight with Huberman.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I heard him speak and I was like, this fucking guy was born to speak.
Really?
He's so good. So smart. Yeah. Just like, and like everybody believes. So last year I had, what's his name? Jason Redman, who's another former Navy SEAL. Had half his face blown off. Like I love those guys because they're so unassuming, right? Like they look like just
Right.
the average guy. And I'm like, this guy's pretty high level performer.
Yeah.
They both have, books that I've read. I love, the information that they put out. I love their approach to things, the way you kind of gather people together and create teams and understand people's psyche. I love it. I love it. But so I had him speak. We had, God, why am I drawing a blank on everybody? We had over 20 speakers,
Wow.
but I try to cover motivation,
You
nutrition.
didn't get on stage.
No, I got on stage for 2 panels. Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese were our
Nice.
main 2. So I got on stage and spoke with them. So I interviewed the 2 of them.
So, I think I love the introspection. I think too few people do that. And I think so. You mentioned you're going deeper on the event and building your personal brand. And is there more on top of that, or is that your primary focus?
No, I said I was like, I want to build up our YouTube channel. I just want to be able to do more, right? Like if I want to be able to, and some people are ashamed to say some of this stuff, but and even sometimes I was, but I'm like, you know what? I want to be in the rooms. I wrote in a notebook years ago. I actually might have it in my bag. I said that success to me would be building value and being in the same rooms and working with the people that I admire the most.
Dude, it's funny. That's literally my vision. I'll share with you when you're done.
Yeah. I said that. I go, money will come if I'm fucking with the people that I admire.
Yep.
And it's not celebrities. It's being around the people who are doing what I love at a very high level.
Yep.
Like guys who are running gyms, guys who are running events, guys who are doing like making people's lives better through doing what they do.
Yep.
So for me, it's like, okay, how do I do that? How do I invest in myself more so that I could build value into these people's lives?
So mine is, I want a seat at the table, but I want to be invited and not because it's like I want to be, everyone's like, that guy needs to be at the table.
Yeah.
So the game you're playing is like, well, when someone thinks of what, they go, Kenny needs to be there.
Yeah.
Like, we need Kenny here. We need Kenny in this room. So you're like, huh. So when, is it like when I think of building the world's best event, when I think of building the world's best body, when I think of like, what is one of my, Dean Jackson?
No.
So Dean Jackson's for sure one of the smartest marketers in the world. And he said, well, you want to be the mayor of, so he's like, you want to be the mayor of fitness in Tampa.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, you want to be the mayor of fitness in New York.
Yeah.
When anyone does anything in New York, then you think of Kenny. That's sort of the mindset, right? I'm not sure what that phrase is, but
I had a meeting with my team. And before the meeting with my team, I sat down and I said, all right, how do I instill in them values that'll carry over into everything else?
It always does.
And one of the first thing I wrote down was, be so good they can't ignore you. And I think it's such a simple.
Steve Martin. That's the key meaning of Steve Martin. Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yep.
It's like, even if they don't like you, which most people naturally will not like you if you're doing something good.
Great.
People love punching up. You never punch down.
Right.
So, people at the top will ignore you if you don't have some sort of value. But people at the bottom will punch down. It's like, for me, I'm like, okay, whether you're punching up or punching down, it doesn't matter to me as long as you're like, well, that guy still needs to be there, right? I hate him, but I have to respect him.
So how do you do that? Is it building a brand? Is it building influence?
I think it's just doing what you do. Like, so everybody's like, I'm a trainer, but you're not really training anybody. You're not on the floor doing what you do.
Right.
I think you build that skill. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't spend 4 years on a college campus learning fucking kinesiology and, all this. I spent the time in the trenches.
Right.
One of the things, I don't know if you saw it, but I was on Good Day New York and I was helping this woman who's an older woman. She wanted to get up and do pull-ups. I brought in this pull-up bar. It was right before my event. It was the day before my event. I'm on Good Day New York. And she jumps up on the bar and she's holding the bar. And I'm like, come on, let's do some pull-ups. And she's like, no, I can't. I was like, and so I crossed her legs like I've done 8 million times before with thousands of clients. And I'm helping her up. And she's like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, come on, give me one more. She's like, and she lets go of the bar and she falls forward. And everybody's like, oh. he's a shit trainer, blah, blah,
On
blah.
live
How
TV?
can he do this to people? Like, yeah, no, well, Fox
Oh my God.
puts it up on their page and it gets like
That's
millions of views, like 4 or 5
She
million
shouldn't have
views.
let go, but I understand why.
Yes. So everybody's like, oh, why would you cross somebody's legs? I go, most people who jump on a pull-up bar, the first thing they'll do is cross their legs and start pulling themselves up.
Yeah.
I've done this 1,001 times. And it's not like I came up with this. I've been taught this. It's like, hey, you want to assist somebody, blah, blah, whatever. And I have 2 minutes to pitch my event and get this woman to do pull-ups and shit. And I'm like, this is what happens. So whatever. So it became laughed off. I called her up. I sent her flowers, whatever. She was fine about it. And I go, we should do a redemption story that you can do pull-ups. Like you're an older woman.
Yeah.
You should be able to do this. She's like, no, I don't want to work out. I don't want to exercise. I go, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Me too, but like you're doing yourself a disservice. Like you should be exercising. You should be working out. There's not a fucking expert on social media or on the planet that's not telling people, hey, the first recommendation should be exercise.
Right.
So whatever. But the amount of guys who spoke up for me and girls who came to my defense on like this Fox page who were like, dude, this guy's a foxhole trainer. He is fucking in the shit all the time. And like that meant so much more to me. Out of this fuck up that I had, so many people came out and spoke out and were like, dude, no, I know this guy. He's a legit trainer. He like trains people every day. That's where and that's what made me think that's my expertise. I spent 15 years doing this. I remember about 10 years ago, a buddy of mine asked me, he goes, what are you going to do when you burn out? I go, buddy, I've been burnt out.
Right.
And I just keep running on fumes.
Yeah.
And that's all I've done. Like people think I'm nuts. They're like, you're going to fly to Toronto. I go, the opportunity to hang with this guy that I admire, to be on his podcast and just shoot the shit with him is worth whatever it costs me to fly to fucking Toronto. And so for me, I'm like, I want to live that life. I want to be able to go and experience these things and work as hard as I can at what I do so that when people are you a trainer? I'm like, well, I spent 15 years doing it. And the guys who tell me they're like, I want to be off the floor. I never want to be off the floor. I enjoy doing it. I see people like Gunnar Peterson and Don who are still doing it, who are much older than me, who are very good at it, who are looked at as experts because they've done it for so long.
Man, do you know what inspires me to continue to do what I do?
What?
I shifted away from being a trainer to being a guy who gets 100% results for 100% of people.
Yeah.
And I think that shifted it from being work to being curious play. Because I'm like, there's always a problem that I can't solve. So there's this never, like it goes from being like, fuck, I'm teaching these guys how to build their fucking biceps, which is like beating my head against the wall because I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
To there's something in here that I've not yet solved. So it's this constant like iterative process of like, well, is it their genetics? Is it their joint health? Is it their cardiovascular? There's something in everyone's body that I don't yet know how to solve.
Well, and I think that's the evolution of it, right?
Yeah.
Some people jump the gun too fast. They're like, well, I want to fix all these other problems for people, but you don't have any expertise in any one thing. Yeah. So like when I meet a 25-year-old and they're like, oh, I'm a life coach. It's like, you haven't lived in a fucking life. Like you don't fucking know anything yet. But like I see you and I'm sitting in that room and I thought it was a very powerful moment then because I'm like, here I am, you know, and I'm always ready to learn. I always want to be in those rooms with a bunch of other guys. And like everybody I talk to is a successful guy.
Yep.
And they're like, I'm just trying to dial in this part of my life. And this is the guy I believe in, you know, me and Brian were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome. Yeah. And I was like, I like hearing you talk. I like listening to you. And then even having you in that room where I'm like, more people should be able to hear your message. And another reason why I started the event was I want what I believe in, right? Because I don't have the letters after my name, or maybe I'm not as accomplished as other people. It's like, I'm going to bring these people that are saying the same thing I am. That's why I've had Gabrielle Lyons and a lot of these people. I'm like, you need to build more muscle tissue. You need to fucking do this. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to bring in the expert who talks about this on a very high level. This is an idea that I believe in and I've believed in my whole life. I just never had even now, Simon Sinek, I was training Jay Shetty over the summer. and I had gotten the opportunity to work with him, and we were chatting. And it was right before my event. And I said, I go, you know what I need? I need a relationship expert. I need somebody who could talk about not the importance of a romantic relationship, because everybody feels like that's what they need. I go, I need somebody who talks about the importance of friendships and living life with other people and having those fallback friends when a relationship does go south. And he's like, you know what? He goes, actually Simon Sinek's talking about it. So now I already followed him, but I've noticed in the past couple months that his content is all about the importance of friendships. And it's blown up and his content's blown up. But I've been saying this forever. Like one of my friends who's 53 now, one of my best friends, I met him when I first moved into the city. He owns a bunch of bars in New York and stuff. And he would always be like, yo, you always got to stay tight with your buddies. You always got to value your buddies. And so he'd always have like, at his birthday, he'd have everybody up at his house and he'd fucking pay for everything. And like he put a lot of value into his friends. And I go, I saw it and I admired that. And I want to be that guy.
Right.
I want to make sure that my friends know I love them and that I'm there for them and that those relationships are just as important, if not more important, than my girlfriend.
Anything. Yep.
And so many people don't treat their friends the way they should treat them. Like, so one of the things that I like to speak on is like, all right, I'm living what I'm saying, right? Coming up here, hanging out with you. I value you. I think you're an important person in my life. So I want to do that. Like even with Don, like I texted Don not too long ago and I was like, dude, I want to come out to Long Island. You tell me when it's cool. I don't want to be a nuisance to you, but like, for instance, I'm training this guy now who's 48, 49 years old. He's been married the last 20 years, going through a divorce.
No friends.
Yeah, and me and him have been hanging out and stuff. He's like, oh, I really like hanging with you. And he's sharing all this stuff with me. And I go, I'm seeing it firsthand. I didn't go to school for it. I don't need a fucking degree in this. I'm living it. This is like the practicality. It's like I could go to school for welding or I could go get a job welding and then become an expert in actual fucking welding.
Right.
You know?
That's wisdom, right? That's the pillar.
So for me, it's like I'm living this life of like how important I treat friends are. Like last night was a girl from my gym's birthday. I didn't want to fucking leave the house. I didn't want to go out. But I'm like, whether it means something to her or not, it means something to me to be there for her. So I got them a reservation at one of my clients' restaurants and I paid for like the first round of drinks for like 10 women. And then I went over she had this party afterwards, but I'm like, I just wanted to be there for her. You know, I think more people need to show up for other people to be like, hey, I'm here for you. You know, and I think whether they reciprocate or not, I don't give a shit. I'm doing it because it means something to me.
That sounds like a really important part of your mission, man. Yeah. It's not like you're the only person I've ever heard talk about that. I see the value. I think it should be the type of thing that's taught in school. So I watch my kids, specifically my son, interact with his buddies. I'm like, nobody's ever taught him how to be a good friend. Like, what happens when your buddy's going through some shit? What happens when they all play hockey together? What happens when someone has a bad game? You're just going to shit on him and be like, oh, he sucks? Or are you going to actually go and lift him up? But nobody's ever taught him that. What an interesting skill that I think sometimes we take for granted in life. Like, oh, you should just know how to be a good friend. You're like, no. Like, that's not normal, man. They were not common anyways. Yeah. And that's part of your mission.
Yeah, I think I've been lucky enough to have some really great friends in my life. And not everybody's going to be the same. Not everybody's going to be the traditional version of what you think a friend is. And I think just the same way you have a romantic relationship, there's going to be, things you might not agree with and things that don't make sense. But at the same time, you still have to love that person.
What's the commonality amongst your friends? Do you have to value the same things?
Yeah, I think we all kind of, for instance, like the guys I'm the closest with, the 4 guys that I would say are like my best friends that I've been hanging out with for the past 15, 20 years. None of us really were into drugs. We used to all drink together and go out together, but I think we've all kind of grown the same way. I think we all value each other, which is super important. I mean, 2 of my buddies are super fucking liberal.
Was the drinking a part of that? I always think that to know what somebody's made of, you have to go through battle. So sometimes the drinking does that. Sometimes workouts can do that. My best friends are people that I trained with. Yeah. Maybe the people that I partied with.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of all those things. I think for instance, Friday night, this is a perfect example of like what I thought a great night in New York is and why I continue to live there and love it. My one friend just moved back to the city, broke up with his girlfriend. Guy's got a ton of fucking money, owns funeral homes all over New Jersey. But you know what never goes out of style?
Right.
People dying.
Yeah.
so this fucking guy's printing money. He's got a membership to this club. He hits me up out of nowhere. He's like, hey, if you're around, I'd love to go get dinner or something. I go, yeah. I was like, what are you doing Friday night? This was like Wednesday or Thursday. He's like, I'm around. Let's go. I was like, all right, 8:30. You want to go to your spot? And he's like, yeah. Another kid hits me up. Guy who I'm working with now, who's helping me out with some of the business stuff, is like, hey, I'm going to be in New York for that. I was like, come with me and my buddy Friday night. Another kid I just had on my podcast, he's a relationship expert. I used to work at Equinox with him. I was like, we're going to go grab cigars and dinner if you want to come. Sure, I'm in. Another guy I work with, he owns this other event. He basically does the same thing I do, but it's more like running and shit. And I knew him from the nightlife scene in New York. So all these guys they've never met each other. I get there last. So they're all in the lobby waiting for me. And they were all like, oh, you're all here for Kenny? All right. So they start bullshitting. We got to dinner. It was 8:30. We left there. It was like 1:30.
Right.
There's a bunch of guys who don't know each other, who are all like going through different shit in New York. And we all had a great fucking time together. It was awesome. It was perfect.
I think because you're the commonality, what it sounds like is there's like an instant, if they know if someone, if you vetted them, person, like I have friends like that. I'm like, oh, if you're a friend of this guy, I know you're good people.
Yeah, totally. But like these are the qualities that I admired in other people that I saw. Like Don. Don's the type of guy, you know, he'll vouch for me all the time. And it means the fucking world to me because I idolize him.
Right.
I'm like, he's the fucking guy. He was the guy in New York, you know. And when he's like, hey, you got to go train with my buddy Kenny, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck. It means that's like the highest honor for me. But he's so good with so many people, right? And people trust what he says. Yeah. And I have become friends with his friends, just random people. This woman owns a supplement company. We're super tight. She'll call me up and we'll shoot the shit.
He vets.
Yeah. And he vets everybody. And like, if you're a friend of his, you're a friend of mine, you know? And even like Brian, like I think Brian's a great kid. Like we had met him that weekend and I like fell in love with it, and he's just been super supportive. Like I admire what he's done with his business and just the way he carries himself and stuff. So, and like that kid Charlie I brought, right? Like,
seemed like a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He just needs a little direction and stuff, and I think he's going to be a great fucking guy.
I think he'll end up working for us on the video side.
Good. Yeah.
He says, I don't really want to work at the gym, but I'd love to do videos for us. Like, done. Let's go.
Yeah. And I told him, I go, I'm telling you, I go, you're not going to get a ton of opportunities to work with great people like this. I go over there and just build value into everything they're doing. I go, whatever you could help them with, go do it, because that's a great nucleus of people to be around.
And when I meet a kid like that, the first thing that I want to tell him is like, you need a direction, because I can, just like you can help with the next sequence of steps to move them in the direction. But so many kids his age don't have direction. Like, I don't know what I want to do. Cause like, do you want to work at the front desk? Well, yeah. Do you want to work on videos? Yeah. So I'm like, dude, if you like, hey, my direction is I want to be your head of video. I'm like, no problem. It's going to take you 3 years, but here's exactly how to get there. So I think for the young people listening, if there's anyone, like once you know that direction, I think Jordan Peterson, and I've quoted this a few times in the last week, but he says the biggest problem in the world right now is options. So when you have options in relationships, when you have options in life, you don't have a single point of direction. So like, you don't know where you're going. So you sort of spray your attention and energy all over the place and you feel hopeless. Like, I'm not making any progress. I'm spinning my wheels. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So once you assign like a single point of focus, you're like, I know I'm going here. Is exactly what I'm doing. The world starts to conform for you. You're like, the things start to lay out. Like, this is all I'm going to do. That's why I think you and I are sort of in the same place of like, this is what I'm doing. This is who I'm doing it for. Once you decide that, now all of these amazing people that you've been collecting through your life start to be like, go to Kenny because that's what he's doing. And I think once you get clear on it, it's like, it'll just make it happen.
Well, that was a thing too. During COVID, when everybody was leaving, I was like, I'm going to double down. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to be the gym guy in New York. And I want everybody who's in New York to come to me. Yeah. But it's funny because I compare a lot of things to martial arts and stuff. And one of the best ways I heard jiu-jitsu described was in the beginning, you have thousands of options. There's all these things that you could do. I could take somebody down this way.
Sure.
I could do, and as you get closer and closer,
There's
you
only
just
one.
narrow in.
Right.
And now it's like, all right, checkmate.
Yeah.
There's only one thing you do for it. You either get out or give up.
Right.
And, you know, I love that because I get into that situation in a physical situation.
Yeah.
10, 20 times every time I go train.
Right.
And it helps me make better decisions in life. Right. When I cross the finish line of my first Ironman, I go, I could do anything. If I could do this to my body, I could do this with my mind.
Right.
And I think and that's why I'm so gung-ho about people like living better and eating better and just making better choices, because you're going to do so much more for your life and you're going to help us all move forward. That's why I like seeing people win. One of the other value systems that I put on there and that I taught my team is like, you got to want to see other people win because it's only going to help you win. The more people who are preaching about exercise and wellness is only going to add more value into your life because now more people believe it. The fact that all these experts have come along and are saying all the things that I say, people are like, well, shouldn't I be doing this? I'm like, yes, I've been telling you this for fucking years. Yeah, you should do this. Yes, you should work out. Yes, you should eat better. Like I have a client who I've seen for 7-8 years now, and he's like, I didn't realize how detrimental alcohol was. I go, dude, I've been telling you for years. I go, you could drink every once in a while. I go, but the fact that you go out and drink every night it's diminishing returns. You could come to the gym and beat your head up against the wall and fucking kill yourself doing workouts. But if you're drinking 6 of the 7 nights a week,
Right.
you're never going to see the results you think you're going to get.
So that's one of the things I find most fascinating about being a coach is I believe, and just like the lady who fell on her face with the bar, like I believe there's something you can say. This could be a wrong belief, but this is the belief that I've adopted. There's something you can say that will get her to believe that working out is not only a good option, but she's going to do it and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, so that's sort of the path I take in my life. I'm like, so this guy who's drinking and he won't stop drinking, I'm like, I just don't know the skills yet to get him to stop drinking, but there's some emotional button or there's something I can tell this guy or teach this guy or show this guy that will make him recognize that drinking is a bad idea. Mm-hmm. And so as a coach, that's sort of my framing. I'm like, no matter what problem is in front of us, we can solve this. Mm-hmm. And like, I love that framing for me, because if I don't know the answer, I'm not good enough yet. Yeah. And if I don't know the answer,
I feel the same way.
I just got to go figure it out. I'm like, well, if this lady doesn't want to work out, there's some emotion in her that she's insecure about. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee whatever that emotion is, working out will fix it. You know, like we can find that path to helping everyone be better.
Well, there's so many people who are like so worried about like the clothes they wear and the shoes they have on and the fucking bag they're carrying.
But you look like a fat ass.
But you're a fucking fat slob.
Right.
Like, what the fuck does that help?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you? The most important thing is like what you look like in the mirror to yourself.
Right.
Then you have the confidence to do all this other shit.
The ultimate life hack is like, how do you look with just like the shit, like a shitty white t-shirt or a gray t-shirt? Yeah. Like, do you look at it in that? Because if you don't, that's your best fashion statement.
I've said that so many times because like, I remember being overweight and out of shape and looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I got to wear this because it looks this way and I got to wear more black. And I'm like, what if I get in fucking great shape? Then I could look good in anything. You know, you look like a perfect example. Like you watch Fight Club and Brad Pitt's always got some stupid outfit on. He's got like, I remember trying to do it in high school and realizing how stupid it looked. He had like Adidas track pants on with like a bohemian shirt and a tank top. And I'm like, that's a fucking wacky outfit.
Right.
Like if you put it on, you look like an asshole in it. He looks awesome in it because he's Brad Pitt.
Right.
But anybody else looks like an idiot in it. But no, it's so true. It's like I try to instill in all my clients. I think my biggest success story up to this point is this 84-year-old guy that I have. And he called me the other day. He never uses a phone. Like, he's very old school, and as old school gets. This guy's 84, and he sold his company for like $200 million. And he had come in because he bought a Kaiser machine for his house.
Like a functional trainer?
A functional trainer for his house, and had no idea how to use it. And the guy who was installing it for him, he's like, you have a functional trainer at your space. I was like, yeah, just some random guy I met at like an event. We become pretty close, and he does like gym installments and shit. And he's like, well, I got this guy. He wants you to show him how to use it. He'll give you a couple $100. The guy's loaded. He just wants to know how to use it. So this guy comes up to my gym, And he's like, all right, how do I attach this thing? And it's not really that complicated, but so I'm showing, I go, could I show you a couple other things? I was like, that I think you'll feel really good at. So I trained him. He's like, can we do that again next week? He's like, I felt really good after that. Let's do it again next week. Then twice a week, then 3 times a week. Calls me up the other day. He's like, can I tell you something? He's like, my doctor is blown away. And I was like, why? He's like, I went for my bone density test. And he told me at 84, it's unfathomable that what happened. He's like, I have 11% more bone density than I did a year ago.
Wow.
Because I've been exercising, which is fucking,
That's
I heard that and I'm like, I would give him all the fucking money back. Not that he needs it.
Change his life.
I go, but to me, that changes fucking life.
Yeah.
Like that puts years on his life. I don't know how many the fuck he's got left, but at the same time, like he felt so good about it. He goes, I'm all in. He goes, I totally believe in this. And I was like, it's so simple. And he goes, all this stuff that they try to do for my arthritis and all these pills that I've been taking, he goes, nothing worked like this. And it's so crazy that like I have him come in and we just do simple shit. And I love bullshitting with him because anybody who's got that much more life on me,
experience,
just wisdom and experience and like
what did he sell? What business did he sell?
Crazy story. He had a perfume business. He worked in the perfume industry all through like the 60s and 70s. And in the 80s, like 1981, 1982, he got fired from the job. But he knew all the manufacturers and stuff. So all these like big brands. He started making all the shit brands.
Like the knockoffs.
The knockoff stuff. And selling it to like CVS and all that stuff.
Smart.
Genius.
Yeah. Man, I think New York's got to be probably the best place in the world for finding really unique people.
Yeah.
Like there's always something cool.
You're hungry.
Right.
You want one.
Yeah, I think just like, every time I meet someone in New York, I'm like, they're doing something cool. Because you got to be pretty wealthy to be there.
Yep.
You're probably doing something really cool. And especially people who are older. I'm like, you've been there most of your life. You've seen some cool shit.
Yeah. And he was just telling me he sold a piece of artwork this year that he's got to pay like $2-3 million worth of taxes on. But I go, how much did you sell this fucking piece of artwork for? He's like, you don't want to know.
Right.
But like when you're paying $2-3 million in taxes on a fucking painting, you know.
Where's your mind on peptides right now? I think everyone's talking about it.
I'm pro whatever. Like I look at it as obviously, I grew up in the era of like, I loved, bodybuilding. I loved Stallone and Schwarzenegger and everybody I ever admired looked a certain way. And, a lot of like testosterone and a lot of stuff was, taboo. Like no one should take it. You shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. I started taking testosterone 3 years ago because of a medical situation. And, it's been the best thing. It's helped me so much. And I'm like, if this wasn't available to me, I'd be living a very different life right now. I'd be miserable right now. My back be killing me. I'd fucking feel like shit. But it's helped me a lot. I think there's, even with the peptides, I can't take anything because I have this cyst on my brain. So like my doctor doesn't want me taking like,
I didn't know you did. Has that been there for a while?
That's kind of how that's how I started taking the testosterone was because the cyst sits right on like the part of my brain that, like my pituitary gland where it's like,
but it's benign.
It's benign, but it blocks a lot of the signals that are
interesting.
Sent. So when I started taking the testosterone, I was having all this pain, all like joint issues and back pain and all this stuff. And as soon as I started taking it, I'd say 3-4 weeks later, gone. And every doctor that I went to go see is like, we need to fuse your spine. Now, had I have gone through that surgery and fused my
life would have been completely different.
Oh my God, fucking horrible. And I knew it wasn't structural. I was like, the way I tell people, the way I explain it to people is like, if the lights are off in this room and we're like, all right, we need to fix the lights, but we start spackling the fucking walls and stuff. Right. I go, well, why don't we go to the electrical box and figure it out in there? And that's basically
you knew, you felt it.
I knew it. I was like, I didn't do anything to my back. People are like, well, everybody's got a herniated disc. I'm like, this is a bullshit diagnosis that doctors give to people. Right. Like even my grandmother had osteoporosis. And I remember telling my grandma, I was like, you got to just like lift some weights or something. And she's like, no, that's not going to help me. But I'm like, well, your bones are degenerating, right? Like it's almost like pushing you down because you're so weak. I'm like, and I think about it now as somebody who understands it. I'm like, she's never put her fucking arms up over her head after the age of 60.
Right.
So she went another 25 years, never picking up her arms, barely left the house. She lived in a fucking nightgown. You know, she didn't do much. Yeah.
I believe it because I see a picture of my grandma.
Yeah. So I go, now I look at other people who continue to live and stuff, work out. And, you know, funny thing was, I was telling my mom this because I took my mom to go see Elton John 2018, 2019 when my dad first got sick. And I was saying, I go, he's the same age as my father.
Yep.
And here he is running on stage.
Smashing it.
Dancing and singing.
Yep.
And he's got an 11-year-old kid and he's loving life. And my father's in a fucking hospital bed.
Right.
And I go, what's the clear difference? This guy did drugs. He drank.
Right.
My father didn't do any of that shit. And I go, he continued to live life, continued to have a good time.
So I'm at 74. How old was he when? Probably he's not similar. No.
Elton John, yeah, he's like 75, 76.
So when I saw him, he was 74. I think it was the last concert coming through Tampa. And I was like, this fucking guy at 74 for 4 hours is rocking, man.
Yeah.
Like rocking. Nuts.
2 summers ago, I went to go see the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Now, Mick Jagger is 84 now. Now, my client obviously didn't live the life Mick Jagger did.
Right.
So he kind of like shuffles his feet. I kind of get him to like do some stuff. I have him push a sled and walk on one of those sand dunes and stuff. But Mick Jagger running on stage from where we were sitting, if you told me it was a 25-year-old guy running across the stage, I'd believe you.
He was 84?
80, well, at the time, he was probably 82. But he's running on stage like full sprint on stage. And I'm like, that's not an 82-year-old.
Right.
And now did a ton of drugs, drank a ton of alcohol, but continued to live life. So I say to people all the time, I go, you can continue to have a good time. I don't drink because I choose not to, but there was somebody the other day, I think it was the guys on the, what the hell is that? Pump.
Mind Pump.
Mind Pump. They were saying that, you can, if you had to choose eating really well and having great nutrition and not exercising, or eating like shit, drinking alcohol, but really being dedicated to the gym, you should always go with exercise and movement because that'll last longer. And one of the things that I read about Mick Jagger one time was that every morning without fail, come hell or high water, doesn't matter where he is in the world, he goes for a 3-mile run.
So I'd also say, though, that there's something to be said for Mick Jagger when all this time when he's on drugs, he's also not eating. So there's also like the AMPK stimulus of like, people are just chronically eating. We're just fucking overeating constantly. So his thing was like, well, I'd probably go 5 days without eating. So I did some fasting. And even though the drugs are probably destroying something else in my body.
The fasting's feeding.
Right. Well, the fasting's going to give you some better than overeating chronically. So I think the game that was like, he didn't overeat. And same with Ozzy Osbourne. Like he lived a long life. And you're like, that guy did more drugs probably than anyone has ever lived. And you're like, well, fuck, he did pretty good, man. Like, his body lasted. His brain didn't do so good, but.
I was with a friend of mine the other night and she's like, my grandmother's 92. I'm like, you can't even be upset about it.
Right.
That's a fucking good life. Totally. For that generation, 92.
I try to teach my kids that. Like, because they're like, oh, they're old. And I was like, yeah, they're old. You should honor that shit. Yeah. Like the fact that they made it that far is just remarkable.
Yeah. I say it all the time. Like it's a combination of so many things, but to be lucky enough to have life and then to be lucky enough to get that far. I was telling my client the other day, I go, you survived COVID, Vietnam, World War II.
Right.
Great Depression. Like you had so much shit stacked against you and here you are. Yeah. And he goes, it's pretty impressive. I go, it's fucking really impressive.
Looking at genes now, we run genes in our coaching and it's been really interesting to observe like good genes and bad genes. Yeah. There really is good genes and bad genes. I had a lady.
What's the difference? Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So I had a lady probably 2-3 months ago now. She came in and had her genes around. I was like, I've never seen someone with this good genes in my life. I'm like, I didn't say that to her, but I said, do people in your family tend to live to be pretty old? She goes, everyone in my family is at least 90, 95, 100. I was like, yeah. So there's certain things. So like if you think of your body in terms of systems, right? So there's like neurotransmitters, so dopamine, adrenaline, and then there's inflammation, and then there's what we'll call like obesity genes, which is basically based around metabolism. So they have these like sort of segments in the genome, and you could see like, for example, my body doesn't do well with inflammation. So genetically, I have really poor inflammatory pathways. So if I drive inflammatory processes in my body's not going to get rid of it well. So my body's going to sit in an inflamed state chronically. So if I drink, if I overeat, if I don't train, my body's going to be inflamed. Like if I eat shitty, and my body doesn't do well with it. So if I don't know that and I do those things poorly, like I drink and I eat poorly, my body's going to die fast. If I see that I have poor inflammatory pathways, I can go, oh, well, you can't get away with anything. You need to eat really well, train really well. You can't drink alcohol. And chances are with those genes, if you don't push that pathway, because the body doesn't do it well, if you don't push it, you're going to live pretty long. This lady, her body did everything well. I'm like, you have no obesity genes. You have amazing inflammatory genes. You have amazing brain genes, like amazing cholesterol genes. And so she could probably get away with anything, and she's going to do really, really well. And so we all see those people who like, they live to be 95 and they smoke 3 packs a day. I'm like, that's probably her. Whereas then I saw another guy who, old, probably in his early 60s, and he's like obese. But I'm like, man, everything about your genes is exactly the way you look. Like you're high strung, you have high stress genes, you have obesity genes, you have terrible inflammatory genes. So like, had someone told him that in his 20s and 30s, and be like, hey, dude, you can't get away with any of that shit. Yeah. You have to fix it. He probably would have lived a lot longer. We can do it now, but doesn't necessarily mean he's going to extend his life. He can extend his quality of life. But now as an example of obesity genes would be like very high impulsivity, meaning he's more likely to be impulsive on things. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's food. He's also going to have a lower sort of satiation point, whether that be in his brain or in his palate for certain foods. So meaning he may want to overeat, some things they call the buffet gene. Like you're going to go to a buffet, you're not getting, there's no off switch. Yeah. So you can see that in people's genes.
Yeah, I definitely have that.
Yeah. Well, if you're obese when you're a kid, you for sure have that.
Yeah. I just didn't understand it. And, even my genetics now, like I'm always just like, I feel fucking soft. And I see some guys who I'm like
mentally soft?
No, like physically.
Like body fat or muscle?
No, just like, muscle. Like, you know how you could tell like somebody's fucking solid,
Yeah. But that's
so
not
it's
a good thing.
It's like muscle density.
Yeah. Well, there's genes for muscle density. Yeah. So there's like genes for slow twitch, genes for fast twitch. You can see how dense someone's going to be, but you actually want your muscles to be sort of soft, right? Because high muscle tone is generally an indication of high sympathetic drive. It's like you don't want that at rest, certainly. But have we haven't done your genes yet? We should do your genes. I'd love to see them. Yeah. I can literally.
Interesting to see that.
So the thing that really set it apart for me was looking at my kids. So I look at my kids' genes and I'm like, I can see their behaviors in their genetics. So, I won't get into too many details of my kids' personal details on the podcast, but like, certain behaviors of my daughters, I'm like, oh, that's why she does that genetically. And my son, I'm like, oh, that's why he does that genetically. So now that I see in their genes, I'm like, it's not them being stubborn in their personality. So for example, my son won't eat vegetables. He's a super taster for bitter foods, which means anything bitter, he gets like a super taste. I'm like a low taster for bitter foods. So I can eat bitter foods. I don't really notice. It tastes pretty good to me. He's a super taster. So I'm like, from the time he was this big, again, there's some environmental factors for sure. But like when I'm trying to get him to eat bitter foods, to him, it tastes exponentially more bitter. Well, that's interesting. My son also has, so I have 4 obesity genes. So 4 specific SNPs that would predispose me to being obese. And there's additional ones. My son has 0. So like he doesn't eat, he'll eat once a day and he'll eat like, I don't know, like nothing, like crackers. Yeah. Like, I'm good. He's got no genes for like overeating. Whereas I've got 4 that are like, when I start eating, I want to keep eating. So for me to look at his genes, I'm like, he just doesn't want to eat, man. This doesn't make him good or bad. It just is what it is. So anyways, you get to look at stuff like that and you're like, oh, I think genes are, I wouldn't say they're deterministic, but it certainly gives you guidance as to what you're going to be good at and not good at, and maybe how to supplement. Maybe you're more inflamed. You don't look like you're inflamed, but you can generally see what people's genetic deficiencies are once you start to understand a little bit about genetics. I'm certainly not an expert, but I spent the last 2 years studying a fair amount.
Yeah, I think the two things that I've been watching or paying attention to the most is neuroscience, like the understanding of the brain, and then genes, gene types.
Yep.
Like you could definitely start to see where somebody's going to drift to when you see that. But I think you could grow, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but with a lot of the gene stuff, I know when I was a kid, I hated eating vegetables and shit. And nowadays,
well, so back then it could have been a competition in your brain between like, hey, because you think of this evolutionarily, if I have something over here that's really high calorie and really, really tasty, unconsciously, I'm choosing that all day.
Yeah.
If you take that option off the table and you actually allow someone to be hungry, then things that are nutrient dense become more valuable.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
probably what it was.
Totally. Same with me as a kid. I was fat as a kid too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, if you're going to give me the choice between eating a donut and eating broccoli, whereas my brain knows this donut's got 500 calories, this broccoli, if I want 500 calories, I eat 4 bowls of it. Like, this is so much easier. Just give me that.
Yeah.
You know, less. My son will avoid foods that are hard to chew. Not as much anymore. But like if I give him like a steak, he's like, no. But if you give him like something that's like mushy, he'll eat it. Because his brain is choosing foods that are hyper palatable over things that require work. Whereas the thing that requires work to chew and eat actually will increase testosterone. There's some data around like actually having to work for your food as a young person develops the muscles of the jaw. And so you ever look at somebody's jaw, like someone's got a big jaw, you know, they have high testosterone levels. So it's like interesting. So like square jaw, big jaw, higher testosterone levels genetically. So like the act of like the mastication process, like chewing through hard stuff, literally increases the muscles of the jaw and increases testosterone. So it's interesting to just observe when you start looking at genes.
It's interesting.
Yeah. What's coming up for you, man? We got coming up on New Year, coming up 2026. What's the goals for Kenny? What can everyone in the audience be like? Yeah, I want to watch out for this guy and connect with this guy.
You know, simple goals. I want to get more people in the gym. That's what I'm working on. Getting some good podcasts.
How are you going to do that?
Well, I'm working with a marketing team now. I got a guy
into your gym.
Yeah. I have a marketing team that I work with, and they're helping me like just kind of boost my profile and stuff and do some.
So that's about getting people in your gym or boosting your profile?
Boosting my profile and the gym. So they're doing it for both. And I just hired these guys to do like just some video and advertisement stuff and strategies around how to get people in the gym. Like we just.
So I just want to understand. So when you say get people in the gym, you just mean anywher in the world or in your gym in New Jersey?
Gym in New Jersey.
Got it.
And so and then even doubling down on the shirt, our merch and stuff. So I ordered a bunch of new stuff. I put a ton of money into it, and then working with this marketing company, they came up with this idea. We had all this stuff. We had like just random shit left over from the event. We ordered $50,000 worth of stuff for the event. We sold a ton of it, which was great. But anything we had left over, we did these like mystery boxes for Christmas. So you buy a $200 mystery box and you have a bunch of shit in there. So it's like hats, socks, shirts, sweatpants, all the shit. So that was good. We did really well with that. So now that allows us to take that money and then repurpose it and make some more stuff. I just enjoy it. Like I don't make any real money off my merchandise. I just enjoy creating merch. Like I've always been into that. I created a t-shirt company when I was in high school. Obviously it didn't do great. Then I created one when I was in my 20s when I was on TV, and that one just as bad, if not worse. But now it's like there's a belief system, there's a purpose, there's a value system behind what I'm doing. I'm spending money on like just creating more merch, getting it out there more, marketing systems. I'm seeing these other brands and I admire it. I love it. I'd love to meet the guys who own like Dark Sport and Young LA. I think what they've done is really cool. They've created this movement. They created this belief system. Even I met the kid from Gymshark. He actually came to my gym one time.
Funny story about him, but I'll share it after.
Oh yeah. And he, here's a guy who's like obsessed with the gym. Like my cousin's obsessed with UFC, but is like the biggest pussy, would never fight in his life. And I look at the guy from Gymshark and I'm like, he doesn't seem like he's gym obsessed,
right?
But he is. And like same thing with my cousin. Like I know he's obsessed with UFC. He could tell you every fighter and every match and everything about it, but he's just like engaging in the sport he would never do. Yeah. And I feel like this guy's like, I don't see him really going to the gym that much. Like I don't ever see videos of him working out, but he does obviously knows what the fuck he's doing. He's created a massive brand.
Like 11 or 12, maybe 13, I was at Body Power in Manchester. Like Body Power is basically the Arnold equivalent over there in the UK.
Okay.
And I think it was the first year that Gymshark started. So
Okay.
we are at the booth like right across from them. And there was 3 guys at the booth, Ben Francis being one of them, wearing like stringers, wearing like tank tops. And they were coming over trying to give us free shit. And we're like, man, fuck off. Like, I don't want your shit. Like, take your shit. Like, take your shitty, like, Gymshark. I'm not going to fucking wear that.
Yeah.
They left us like boxes full of stuff at the end of the event. And next year he comes back and the booth's a little bigger. I'm like, oh, I think he's got like 2 or 3 tables now instead of 1. And then next year we come back and he's got like sort of this really big booth. And I'm like, fuck. And you just sort of watch him grow every year. I think it was 3 or 4 years in a row. Like one year he came back and he was like 8 to 10 tables wide. And I was like, fuck, these guys are doing
something right.
He's no longer 3 kids at the booth too with these stringers.
Yeah.
So, like girls at the booth now.
What a crazy story. Yeah. No, when we were growing up, I used to wear my high school wrestling t-shirts to the gym and stuff because there was no brands. Now there's all these brands and they get people to buy into their belief. Like I started Strong New York because I love this city. This is where I live. This is my hometown. Everything becomes cool here, right? Donna Karan, New York. And, we have all these brands that like put New York in their name. New York adds a level of cool to it.
Totally.
And then I was like, well, Strong's just simple. It's something we could all buy into. And it was the idea that like, even when I was at my old gym and I was doing CrossFit or like when I first started training, I'm like, strength is undeniable. There's no substitute for it. Right. If you're strong, you're strong. You can't fake strong.
Yep.
So it's like whether you're mentally strong, physically strong, emotionally strong, like strength is always something we could all buy into. So it was just a simple, easy name. Like Gymshark, very fucking simple name. Like if you would have said that Gymshark before the brand was around, you're like, it's kind of cheesy. You're a Gymshark.
That's what we heard. I'm like, I'm not wearing that shit.
But now it's like, there's depth to it.
Right.
Like, I think Dark Sport's a cool name. Dark Sport I compare to like Motley Crue. Like you hear the name, you're like, oh, that's a cool name. Yeah. And then the band backs it up. I think their brand backs up.
I think we talked about this in Miami, but you should oppose Young LA with Strong New York. Because like if you put those 2 brands against each other, you win, right? Like I would support Strong New York before I'd support Young LA.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
And it's like what happens when
it's like hipster.
And they got a bunch of old guys. They got fucking Cutler wearing it, and they got Arnold and shit.
It's just because they have a following, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like you got all these old guys wearing Young LA.
Right. Yeah. But I think think about the people you could reach in New York. I'm like, create a movement, man. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You do well.
Yeah, I just need to figure out how to like approach it. Like Young LA, Strong New York, which one? But yeah, so it's like it's building the brand. I enjoy doing it, and when people ask me what my 5-year plan is, I don't have one. I have a tomorrow plan. I know what I want to do. I want to build my brand because I enjoy doing that.
Is the clothing brand the one, or is the event the one? Are they like merged?
They're the same thing. Yeah. Like the event is the antithesis of like what I'm trying to do. It's like, here, I want to bring all these people together and get them actually stronger. I think a lot of times I go to events and people are talking about strength and talking about all this shit and talking about all this shit they're doing. They're not actually doing it. Sure. So I want to like have them do it.
So if I go to your event, is there some, like, what would be interesting? I've thought about this, but like, what do I do after the event? Like, cause go to the event is a peak experience. That's great. But do they have like an app or something they can be part of for the next 12 months to chart their progress? Yeah.
So I think like the way I think of it is like, if you're in the New York City area, I have the gym in New York and the gym in New Jersey. So if people want to come and join the strength club, you could come and join my gym. But I encourage you, that's why I have other gyms come there. Like I have other gyms come and like showcase their product and other brands showcase their product. And I allow different companies like Celsius will sponsor a class or Adidas will sponsor a class because I want people to find whatever tribe they believe in and they want to belong to. Like, I'm not saying I'm the only fucking guy for the job. I want you to go to other gyms and work out. And like Strong New York is the overarching idea. Like we want to make a stronger New York. And that's how we pull each other together through a community and stuff. But I'm not for everyone. If you want to join my shit, join my shit. But there's other gyms out there, and I just want to get more people moving. That's the goal of the event, is to get more people taking better care of themselves.
How do I know I'm strong? I think where I'm going with this is like, is there
there's something like to follow up to it,
but a list of like targets. Like, so if you're a beginner, here's the things you need to be doing. If you're like, meaning like squat your body weight for this and lunge your body weight for this. And like almost high rocks, like here's your standard.
Yeah. Well, we put together a thing this year. What was funny was we started to put this together, and then RFK came out with that, bringing back the presidential testing.
Which is awesome.
So we were like, all right, well, here's a level up, right? And I was going out in the streets. I had that pull-up bar, and I was bringing it out in the streets, and I was like, the average woman can't do any pull-ups, and the average guy could do 1 to 3. So where do you stack up against that? So we did pull-ups, push-ups, carry your body weight, certain type of grip strength. We had the grip strength thing, run a half a mile, so we had this little test, and we had everybody who came to the event do the test. And then you get a score at the end, So I want to do more of that, like this, just testing of like where you're at. And it's no comparison to everybody else. It's like, what are you capable of, and how could we improve that year after year?
How do you tie in your friend component? Like compete with your buddies, or like bring your family or something.
Yeah. So I try to make it user friendly. I have kids classes there. So we have like a kids jiu-jitsu class, a kids gymnastics class, a kids strength class. But when we do a lot of these events, I tell the coaches or who's ever teaching the class, let's pair people up. So if we go to the event together, we would do this competition together. If you don't have somebody you came with, we'll partner you up with somebody else. So when you were doing the competition, it's like I would do a minute worth of push-ups and see how many I could get, and you'd count my reps, and then we'd switch, and then we move on to the next one. And then it was like pull-ups.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's like you're getting to meet somebody new who's interested in the same thing as you, or you came with somebody who could keep you accountable. And I think that's what it is. I think muscle community equals longevity. Like that was like one of the things I had up on the wall.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you got a fan in me and
I appreciate
supporter, man.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan.
Thanks for being here, man.
No, thanks for having me up. Yeah.
So you want to do a social media, like tell everyone where to find you?
Yeah. Easy to find, Strong New York on Instagram, strongnewyork.com. I also own thestrengthclub.com, so check that out. That's our gyms. And then Kenny Santucci. And then the Strong New York podcast. So everything Strong New York.
Appreciate you, man.
Buddy, thank you. This is great.